This episode of Eat Up is brought to you by Consumers Beverages, Buffalo's beer store. Head over to consumersbeverages.com and find out what's on tap. And by Buffalo.com. Go to buffalo.com/audio to listen to other great Audio Buffalo podcasts featuring Nick Mendola, Buffalo Blog, 8pod Forum, and more. On today's podcast, we have Chef Frank Mercado, the executive chef for the executive dining room at M&T Bank. Frank talks about his start in the culinary profession, why he moved to Buffalo, and his unique position. Let's get to it.
You said that, when I was hanging out with you last week at the inn, the nice little industry night, you said you had a big event that was this week?
Yeah, we do an event for M&T Bank, invites 400 of their guests to the art park show. Okay. And we do the food for it. And we pretty much do stations. I was in charge of the seafood station. I was in charge of the sushi, the crab claws, the shrimp cocktail. Nice. We also did a nice fried calamari dish. Okay. Which we did the tempura fried, and then we tossed it in like a hoisin and sriracha type glaze.
So are you doing? It must be kind of like a little like pop up shop to do these, right? Or do they have a kitchen there that you're?
Well, we have a kitchen that we work out of the executive dining room. Which is in the 19th floor of the...
okay. But I thought for this... Wasn't this at Art Park? Or?
Yes, it was at Art Park.
So it's like kind of prepared, or...?
We prep everything at where we're at, and then we bring it there, and then we put all the fine-tuning and the touches to it.
Nice.
They do have a kitchen there on facilities.
Yeah.
And we also did a prime rib station where we did some really nice Duchesse potatoes, and then we kind of hollowed them out, and then we did the prime rib, and we rolled it up and put it inside there.
Nice.
Stuffed it with carrot spears and then a sweet onion au jus. So that came out nice.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Good. But I mean, that must have been. I mean, that's a pretty hectic.
Yeah,
I mean, it was 400 people. It's a.
Yeah, I guess the difficult part about it is try to get everybody organized and everybody on the same page. Yeah. At the same time, while you're doing your day-to-day business. Yeah. We run all 6 of the cafeterias for M&T Bank, Sodexo. Wow. Okay. And we also run the 2 executive dining rooms that they have. And it becomes a little hectic when you're trying to communicate back and forth and making sure all the orders are coming in, especially the week of. It gets really crazy.
Wow. So. Yeah, that sounds intense. So how did you get your start in the cooking world? I mean, I'm assuming you are Buffalo born and
no. I'm originally from Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
And I went to culinary school. To be honest with you, I didn't grow up in the best of neighborhoods. Okay. And I was the only one to graduate out of all my cousins, and
oh wow,
I was the first to graduate of all my cousins and my brothers and sisters from high school, and I applied to many schools, and Pennsylvania Culinary was the first to accept me. I saved up some money. I put myself on a train. Yeah. I got to Pittsburgh. I did the interview, and when I got accepted, the lady says, "Oh well, we have a class starting in about a month or 2," and I looked at her and I said, "Listen, I need to get in right away. I can't. Yeah. I don't want to waste time, because the more time I waste, or it's not going to happen." Yeah. So she got me in the following week. I went back home. I packed my stuff. I got to Pittsburgh. I had a backpack, a duffel bag, and a TV. Wow. And I never looked back.
That's crazy. So what made you... I mean, so were you applying to just schools in general, or were they culinary schools?
They were more of a culinary school.
Okay. What made you pick the culinary?
I worked in the restaurant business. My mother was a chef.
Oh, okay.
And ever since I can remember, I've always been around in the kitchen. Oh, wow. Even through high school, I always worked in the kitchen. Yeah. I've worked every day since. I mean, when I got to college, the first day I was there, I got there and I got settled in. The next morning, I got dressed, put on a shirt and tie, some shoes, and I didn't come home till I had a job.
Wow.
And I literally haven't missed a day's work since.
That's insane.
I've been working every day since, and if there's money to be made, I make it.
Nice. So, I mean, what appeals to you about that culinary? I mean, obviously you know it because your mom, being a chef, and so was it something like you just?
I think that what appeals to me is the fact that I have no one to rely on. Uh-huh. I have no one but myself, and I've always had no one but myself.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I'm not trying to say I don't have my wife now, but when I started making decisions in my life, my own decisions, I said, there's no one to fall on. So like, I want to pick an industry where I'm always going to have a job.
Yeah.
And I planned it out. I said, no matter where I go, no matter what I do, I can go somewhere and cook.
Yeah.
So
nice. And so when you get to culinary school, when you were at home working in kitchens, I'm assuming you kind of moved your way up. You did the standard thing of like dishwashing to.
Oh yeah. I've been very fortunate. I worked in a steak shop in Pennsylvania, and then I started washing dishes at another restaurant. When I got to college, I was working at Morton Steakhouse.
Okay.
So I got to work a little bit of the grill, a little bit of the pantry, and I also worked at the 7-Eleven, so I learned a lot of the retail aspect, and it was pretty cool because I was the manager of the 7-Eleven, so it was like, you want a Slurpees, I was the guy to come to,
Nice.
And when I met my wife in culinary school.
Okay.
And she was working at Sienna, and then when I came to Buffalo, I took over for her there, and then we were having a kid, and I started working at Oliver's, and started working for Mike.
Oh really? I didn't know.
I started working at Warren. I was working at Warren's.
Oh yeah,
the original Warren's when
yeah.
Warren's was there. I kind of did a little everything: catering, banquets. I worked on the line. I worked dishes. I worked at the Holiday Inn in Grand Island.
Jeez.
I really don't have much to say about that place. But,
who do we have? I think we had Jill Forster, who was talking about working at a hotel and said that it wasn't for her.
That place over there is it's something else. That's for sure.
That wasn't the hotel that had the swinger thing, was it?
Yeah, it was. I wasn't there at that time.
You weren't there for the swinger festival?
No, that actually was about 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I've been long gone.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But that place has a lot of restructuring to do, and it's always had. It's just it's a mess.
Yeah, yeah. So so as you go to culinary school, like, were you prepared? Like, did it catch you off guard, or did you go? I mean, it seemed like you were pretty driven when you got there.
I think that when you go off to college or culinary school or any trade school or anytime you leave home, you have either two mentalities. One is, I'm gonna make this happen, or whatever. I mean, I can always go back home.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that choice.
Okay.
So I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
No matter what. And, it's just the person I am,
Yeah, yeah. So you went in, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's... I mean, I've heard, like, it seems like it's at a different atmosphere than like a normal 4 years college or program like that. Like, you're with other people that have like generally a passion for something, as opposed to me going to UB. I'm with just a bunch of random people, and I don't want to be there. And
the one thing that I found interesting right off the bat when I went off to school was we were sitting in one of our classes, and it was just basic. It was like food safety class.
Yeah.
And the teacher kind of. Somebody was goofing off, and he made a point, and he said, those that don't take it serious, you're not going to last long.
Yeah.
He goes, take a look around, because by the end of half of the year, less than half of you will be here.
Wow.
And because that's the industry we're in.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really weeds people out because you got to perform.
Yeah, and and it's not a glam. I mean, it's long days. Yeah. You're there's no just like sitting around like not doing anything. Like, you're constantly moving. Yep. I mean, ideally, and in a busy restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. And I mean, and you're not making crazy money right out of school or anything.
No,
like
absolutely not. That's one thing that I tell people when they decide to go off to culinary school.
Yeah.
I said, you gotta understand that if you're willing to give up your weekends, your nights, your holidays,
working when everyone is not working.
Yeah, when they're partying, you're working.
Yeah.
If you're willing to give that up, and then on top of that, if you want to go to a real quote and unquote, great culinary school.
Yeah, like the CIA or one of those big names.
You're really looking at serious money. And when you come out of there, you're not going to be any better than anybody who hasn't put any effort in. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
It's like you're still green. You're still not going to be the head chef anymore. You're still not going to make mad money. You ain't going to make money. You're still going to be the pantry guy. You're still going to work your way up. It's all about experience. It's a trade.
Yeah.
No matter how you slice the pie, it's a trade, and you got to have a niche for it, and you got to have a passion for it. You have to have an understanding, and you got to really want to move forward.
Yeah. So was your wife from Buffalo? Is that why you came back here? Okay.
Yes.
And so I mean, did you take that idea of like wanting to learn a lot into why you kind of tried to go as many places as possible, like those, like because you said like Sienna and Oliver's and
honestly, I think that it wasn't. It was never the fact that I was jumping around, because I always held the jobs. Like if I worked at Oliver's, I've always worked at Oliver's. Like I'm pretty sure that they would call me now if they needed my help.
Okay. By the way, I think Oliver's has like literally had every chef in Buffalo who's an executive chef or like a head chef has made their way through Oliver's at some point.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's insane. Like,
Henry's a great guy.
Yeah, he's literally shaping. I mean, Christa, I think, wrote an article about this this week. He's like shaping Buffalo's dining scene.
Yep, absolutely.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It just so happened that I would never go and work for, somewhere where it's going to be like Fridays.
Yeah.
I'm not going to work. It's just, there's a place for everything. There's a reason why we have McDonald's. There's a reason why we have Fridays and, and pizzerias and whatnot. But it's just not it's not what I do.
Yeah.
So I've always tried to seek out something that's going to benefit me and it's going to benefit them.
Okay.
I think that I like to think that I've always been an asset to all my employers, and they've always been an asset to me, and I can tell you that I would never have an issue calling anyone up and saying, hey, they would never say no, because I've always been good to them.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to burn any bridges, essentially. Yeah. So, I mean, you said that you enjoyed the fact that the culinary world's kind of, you can count on it. Like, wherever you are in your life, you can count that you can do this as a profession. But was there ever a part where, like, cooking turned from you enjoyed the structure of it to maybe you started to actually, like, love the, I don't want to say the art of cooking, but like the like, when did that start to creep in? Like,
I think that, I started to really enjoy actually cooking and creating was, I think it was about the time that I started working the saute station, and you got to come up with your own specials.
Oh, okay.
At that point, you're held accountable for coming every day and, talking to the servers and saying, okay, we're doing this today, and we got this as a special. And, so at that point, you're kind of, you're held accountable. And that's when I really started to start put things together, and you have to start thinking for yourself.
Yeah. So that pretty, I mean, that must have been pretty early then.
Yeah, it was, I'm going to say, I can't even remember. It's,
long ago.
Yeah.
Before Buffalo or?
Yeah.
Okay.
When it was at Morton's, I would help out with the specials and stuff like that.
And that's when you, so I mean, did you just like start immersing yourself in food 24/7? Like, I mean, a lot of like the chefs like I talk to, they'll cook all day and then they go home and either read.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to say. Is the other thing that you go in my house, I probably have most of my books are all cookbooks.
Oh yeah.
And cooking magazines, and most of my friends are all chefs, and so you live this life where you're talking about food and you're living food and you're eating food, and it's a great little world, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I consider myself still an outsider, because I am. I've never worked in a kitchen, but to go to like Inn and things like that, and to see like all these chefs that I recognize, and they're all just hanging out, talking, like, you know, talking about the industry, and like, it's just cool to see that fraternity, I guess, right in front of you.
Yeah, you know what? I thought that that Inn thing was just gonna go. It's awesome. You know, you go in there and you see everyone you know, and you know, no one doesn't say hello to, you know, if you see someone, they come right up to you and say, hey, how you doing? And the other thing is, people introduce themselves. They'll just randomly walk over and go, hey, you're Frank, and, you know, I'm Chef so-and-so. I'm like, oh, yeah, you know. And you start talking, and you realize how much you do have in common.
Yeah.
Buffalo's small. So.
Yeah, it is. Buffalo's a pretty small place. That I think, that's bound to happen eventually. So I think we should talk about where you're at now, because I think it's a really cool job.
Well,
so you're, I guess you could explain it better. I know you work in the M&T Building.
I work for Sodexo.
Okay.
And we run the food services for M&T Bank.
Okay.
M&T Bank has a couple cafeterias, and they also have a couple executive dining rooms. One in which I run, which is the corporate, the headquarters, downtown.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that I'm very blessed in you know, having this awesome job, and having such a great company to work for too, because they really support their employees. Okay. And they give you all the learning opportunities that you would need to progress as a professional, which is really cool.
Yeah.
My job is 6:30 to 2:30.
That's a pretty good, and that's AM to PM.
Yes. I work Monday through Friday. I work some weekends if they need me.
Yeah.
You know, we do some parties, but for the most part, we're off. We're off every holiday.
Nice.
You know, one of the biggest things about my job is the menu changes every day.
Yeah.
So I can come in the morning and I figure out, you know, I ordered from the day before, and we say, okay, we're going to run, you know, like today I had rabbit, and we did a nice marinated rabbit and kind of grilled it off, and I served it with like almost like a red wine vinaigrette and an heirloom tomato salad.
Nice.
A little shaved black garlic on there. We also ran, what else do we have today?
Well, so who's the clientele that you're serving to?
We serve the executives and all the officers for M&T Bank.
Okay.
And the purpose for the executive dining room is so they can come up and have lunch without having to leave the building.
Yeah. And
have a good lunch.
Oh yeah, I bet.
So you know, it's not about the small dollars. It's always about the big dollars. Mm-hmm. They're making multi-million-dollar.
Oh yeah,
business deals.
Yeah. These are important.
You know, and you know, we're located right on the executive floor, so you know, to them everything is time is money. So if you're there at the lunch is at noon, they come right down the hall. Their table is ready, servers there, and they do their business.
Yeah. So you said that the menu changes. So do they have like several options every day that they?
Yeah,
can have?
we do. We typically do 2 soups, a salad of the day, 4 entrees, and then we do 2 desserts.
Nice.
You know, the entrees, I try to keep it you know, red meat, a poultry, seafood, and a vegetarian.
Something for everybody, essentially. Yeah. Nice. That sounds. So, and it's just a lunch serving, or I mean, you're there at 6:30. So is there?
So
breakfast?
we serve breakfast and lunch. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
So, and you know, you also get to do all those cool, like, special things. You know, wine dinners.
Nice.
You know, for just special events. You know, again, we did that thing at Art Park. That was kind of fun.
I mean, I gotta imagine also too, if like, you know, somebody big's coming through town.
Oh yeah, anyone that comes through Buffalo pretty much goes through M&T Bank. You know, M&T Bank being one of the bigger companies left in Buffalo. Mr. Wilmers, he kind of dabbles in a little of everything in Buffalo. So
yeah. So I'm assuming, so you're serving some VIPs on an occasion. And so, I mean, so you pretty much have free range to just do whatever you want with the menu for the most part?
I think the only thing that you don't have free range on is the plating. We try to keep it very classical, kind of not over the top, so then no one would ever feel uncomfortable.
Oh, okay.
Because...
So, like, not too...
Everything has to be eaten very easy.
Oh, okay.
So, we try to keep it...
So the molecular gastronomy is not...
Yeah, you can do a few things here and there, and I usually tend to throw in an extra course in there as far as if I do 2 soups, I'll take 1 soup out and then throw an appetizer in there once in a while.
Yeah.
And I'll try to get a little crazy with it, but I try to keep it generally like what you read is what you get.
Okay. Yeah, you're not reimagining.
Yeah.
Like, something. Okay.
So that way, there's no surprises when they get to the table. It's just one of those things where you don't ever want anyone to feel uncomfortable.
No, not at all. No. So, I mean, do you have a rapport with the people who are dining there? Or, I mean, like, do people make requests or anything like that?
We keep track of who comes up there and what they eat and what they like, and if I know that like someone's coming in and they're they like the I make like a whole grain mustard sauce and and they like it on a certain piece of fish, I'll try and get it in for them.
Okay.
We have a lot of the guests there, they love our homemade ice cream. We have an ice cream maker, and we try to keep at least 3 flavors on hand.
Damn.
So it's that's kind of a treat. People come up there and they're like, oh my god, you got to try the ice cream. But you'd be surprised that a lot of people just given the opportunity, we would have lamb, and we have halibut, and we have grilled chicken.
Yeah.
They'll go, I'll have the chicken. They're kind of...
I mean, not everyone's a foodie, so some people want the safe option. And
so...
That's understandable. So how big of a kitchen do you have there? Like, what's your staff like?
I have a pastry chef. He's / pastry chef, pantry guy. I have a dishwasher and 2 servers, and I also have another employee that they support the other cafeterias.
Oh, okay.
And then if I need them, I pull them in, and they can get dressed in the server uniform, and they can serve or help me behind the line if it gets really hectic.
So do you? You're in charge of the kitchen. I mean, do you try to have somewhat of a mentorship role in where you work with the other guys that are around you, or? Or I mean, because you said like when you've worked other places, you've tried to learn as much and things like that.
It's funny because we were talking about this in the kitchen the other day, and everybody that I hire, I'd rather hire someone that knows less and has more enthusiasm to learn, and to someone that has the knowledge and is coming in and says, okay, this is going to be easy. This is going to be an easy job.
Yeah.
I love to see kids come in and they're like enthusiastic about, like the pastry chef I have now, he comes in and he's like, he's mind blown that he can come in and he can do whatever he wants.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I say to him, okay, this is, here you go. You can order what you want and do what you want. And who wouldn't in the culinary world love that?
I think that's what everyone wants.
Yeah, you come in and they have a secure job and be able to do that.
Yeah. So I mean, you're essentially, it's like you don't want the old dog do tricks or things like that. You want the green.
Yeah, I love showing people the different foods and then showing them different techniques and showing them how we do things. They're like, oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, even the servers, I always try to keep everybody as fresh and as eager to do the great job,
Yeah.
My employees, all of my employees have been there for a while.
Okay.
I don't have a turnover rate.
That's cool.
And it's probably because it's a great job.
Yeah,
and
it sounds like it.
And it's a great atmosphere. You come in the morning and where everybody kind of does their thing. They know that we're at 11:30. We're starting to roll into lunch, so by noon we're ready to go.
Yeah.
And I oversee everything, but for the most part, I always treat everybody like an adult. I say, this is what I expect of you, and I see that it happens. But for the most part, they're able to do it on their own. I'm not sitting there watching them.
Yeah.
And I think that makes people grow up themselves too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
how big of a dining room are we talking about here?
Well, I have 3 dining rooms. I have I have one that's off the kitchen, and that one holds about 35 people.
Okay.
And then I have another one that holds 16 people. Okay. And then we have a smaller dining room that holds 8 people.
Oh wow! So you're doing so roughly 50 maybe, like you're looking at.
Yeah.
So so that must be a pretty crazy lunch if you're.
Yeah, it can get crazy sometimes. We also have a boardroom that the table itself seats 40 all the way around it.
Oh, like one of those like you see in the movies, like when all the stock or board members are
It seats 40 with the chairs that are in there, and we can pull the chairs and we can sit like 50 around it.
Damn.
If we pull those chairs out, so
that's serious.
So it gets kind of crazy.
Yeah, so this isn't like a laid back kitchen. Like when you guys are rolling. Like...
Yeah, we get busy. It's fun. I think that, again, one of the beauties of my job is I know on a day-to-day basis what I'm walking into.
Yeah.
Versus if you have a restaurant that's open, people just walk in.
Yeah.
You have to have a reservation.
Oh, okay.
And you have to be someone that can make a reservation.
Exactly, yeah.
So, like tomorrow I have a 15 top, a 10 top, an 8 top, and a 5 top,
Okay.
And so I know what I'm coming into.
I see.
So, and it kind of makes my job easier considering I got to come up with a menu for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I just come in and I know exactly what I have.
When in your head have you made the menu for the next day? Like, is that something that when you leave you have an idea of the next day what you're going to do? Or
yeah,
no?
pretty much.
Okay.
I have tomorrow. I have some cold water African lobster tails. I'm going to run those. I'm just going to grill them.
Nice.
And I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I want to do some. I want to fry some potatoes and toss them in there, so I have like a crispy salad with it. I have
this is awesome.
I have some fillets coming in. I have a dinner party tomorrow, so I ordered some extra fillets, so I'm going to run them in the morning, and then at night transition into prepping for the afternoon.
Okay.
Because I do have a dinner.
Is that a rare occasion thing, the dinners, or is that...
They're starting to... It depends. When the bank is busy,
that makes
we tend
sense.
to get more...
when people are staying late and...
Yep.
Yeah.
So...
Okay.
And I'm going to try and do a little something different with the rabbit loins, tomorrow.
Nice.
I'm going to try and pound them out and roll them up with something in them.
Nice.
So...
it just sounds... That's so cool. That's such a rare thing for people to have that freedom to,
I love it.
So I was going to ask you, is there anything about the previous format, the general kitchen serving civilians?
Did I miss?
Yeah. Because everything you said, it makes it seem like this job is pretty awesome all around.
You know what? My job is awesome. But I think that one of the things that you, believe it or not, you tend to start to miss is having that menu to perfect something.
Oh, yeah.
Like a perfected dish. You say, okay,
that you're making 20 times a night or something like that. So
if you're starting to roll into fall, right now people are starting to work on their fall menu, and you would start rolling out the fall stuff in there and running it as specials, and then you start to go, okay, well, this worked really well, I want to change the sauce on that, and then come fall you put it on your menu and then you run it, so there's I used to like doing that. I used to like taking something and just working with it, and then finally saying, okay, this is perfect, this is ready for the menu. So that's one of the things that I kind of miss.
I mean, is that a possibility? Is it you yourself who's made this rule that, like, I'm going to change it every week? Or is that kind of came with the territory?
Well, no, it comes with the territory. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you could make, like, your signature item that was available every day, and then you could do other things. I'm sure that there's some things that people see coming on the menu, and they're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have a few things that I kind of run, periodically, but for the most part, because some of the guests are the same.
Okay, yeah.
We try to change it every day.
I see. That makes sense.
Because people try to do, they come up for meetings, and they're probably there a week at a time, so
yeah,
I'm going to be able to change it up.
So, speaking of serving civilians, you recently were a contestant in Nickel City Chef.
Yes.
And so that was kind of your, I don't want to say your coming out, but I mean, a lot of people probably aren't aware that maybe even that the M&T has this executive chef and things like the executive dining room and things like that. How was that like putting your skills out to the general public like that, or being exposed, so to speak?
Going into that Nickel City Chef competition, it was kind of scary. I mean, you kind of you think to yourself, you have Christa Van Wagner. She is awesome. She has her restaurant. She's well known, and
she has a good record. I think
she has a great record.
Yeah. And, I think she was maybe undefeated.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. And going into it, I was kind of nervous that people were going to say, who is this guy? And I wasn't too concerned with the cooking aspect of it, because it's kind of what you do.
Yeah. I mean, you've put in your.
I'm not gonna say that it was like I wasn't worried about it, but it's kind of one
of all the things that you could be like, yes. I got that part down.
Yeah, that part I wasn't worried about. But I was kind of afraid showing up, and I know I have a lot of friends, but I was kind of afraid showing up, and it was going to be like. It was going to be like a Christa crowd, and I was going to be like...
You're going to be the villain or whatever? Like,
so I guess one of the things that was very surprising was how diverse the crowd was. They weren't there for either of us, but it was... it was definitely a mixed crowd, which was great. I mean, it's a great program. It's definitely...
I mean, we finally started... I finally went to 2 this year. I missed yours, unfortunately. But I went to, I think, Chris Dagler's and Chris Dorsano from Lloyd. And, I mean, they're... And for anyone who hasn't gone, it's a legit operation. I mean, that it could be on Food Network and not be out of place. Like,
it's definitely cool.
Yeah. And so, how did you prepare for it? Did you?
My sous chef and I, we
did you have like a big clock, like trying to get it down to the hour or so?
You know what? I found the hour itself to be the last thing to be worried about.
Okay.
I was more concerned with the plating and making sure that the plates were right when they went up. I was, believe it or not, I was really concerned with explaining the dishes.
Oh, I mean, it's a little intimidating.
Yeah, you sit up there and you're talking to people that know food. That
she gets some pretty good judges.
So you kind of. You don't want to look like you don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
But it was awesome. I had a great time.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah. When she recorded her podcast, it was right before she announced the candidates, and she was giving me the list of people who are competing this year, and yours. Well, I was like, that sounds really cool. Like she was telling me like, the executive chef for the M&T. I was like, that sounds really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was really excited. I was like, that's the one I want to go to. And then like we get there, and all of them sold out in like an hour.
It was crazy. I was totally blown away by that.
Yeah,
I was totally blown away.
Yeah. So, I mean, you kind of. So I guess we'll finish up by saying, so what are you looking to continue to change or improve with your position, going forward? Like, I mean, is there things that you want to do that you...
I can tell you that the things that I would like to do is spend more time at other restaurants and kind of working with other people and learning different styles. And I think that you never stop learning. And especially in this industry, there's always something to see, always something to taste. And I think that's what makes our industry so unique. You know, I have my kids and my wife, and I love my job. It works for me. It works for my lifestyle. You know, I love spending time with my family. As much as I love my job, I love spending time with my family more. And you, I mean, you really get to. I mean, you're there when they're, you know, home from school and stuff like that, pretty much. So I have the best of both worlds, and I'm very fortunate. So
nice. So you and your wife were both culinary students, correct? I mean, are you raising your kids to be little foodies themselves, or?
You know what? My kids, anything we put on a plate, they will eat.
Nice.
And you know, and that goes for anything. They eat broccoli. They eat more broccoli than anything else, and Brussels sprouts, and they just, anything that goes on the plate, they'll eat.
That's awesome.
They're great eaters.
That's all. I'm assuming that's all a chef can ask for with the kids.
Absolutely. And you know, I always get the question, "Oh, wow, it must be difficult to cook around your house with two chefs." You know, when you have kids, it's all about just putting something on the plate and
that they're gonna eat.
They're gonna eat, and you know, I guess we're lucky. So
nice. Well, Franks, thank you so much for coming down here.
Welcome.
I really appreciate
it. This went a lot easier than I thought it was going to.
I'm good. I'm glad.
I felt very comfortable. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for coming down here.
Very cool.